Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Now, today I will show you more about project-related legacy input. In order to upload your legacy contract, for example, in your contract management, you can use this contact management as a contact repository also. Suppose you want to bring existing contracts into the contract management module, how can you do that? The best practice always will be you bring the outside contracts into published status. We know what is the published status of the contract and perform follow on document to make any changes to that particular contract workspace that you are having. You are not touching your existing data. Now, how do we manage or import your legacy contracts from external system? And once you go to manage administration, you will be seeing project manager. Under project manager, you are going to see import legacy contract. Once you click on your import legacy contract, there are 4 files need to be prepared, which I am going to show you now. Generally, this information import legacy contract will be provided by your Ariba team. If not, you can ask for a copy. This can also be found on your ConnectCom sample in import legacy contracts. There are 4. You are able to see my screen. There are about 4 files need to be prepared. First file will be contract, where all your contract elements, overview items like description, whether it is a parent, master, hierarchical type, what is the effective date, expiry date, all those things can be entered in contract sheet. And the second will be contract document. You can upload the related contract documents to your contract document folder. You need to enter what is your contract ID again as to what contract document you want to upload. That all you are going to enter in contract document. And third item is contract teams. For that particular contract, who is your project owner, whether additional members need to be given access. All these things can be entered as part of your contract teams. Then this is the import project parameter. Generally, we don't touch this file except one information which we need to enter. I'll click on that. Import project parameter. I can see this. We don't change any of these values. Just expanding all the fields. Don't change any of these values except the template which you are using for uploading your legacy contract. One condition here is ST contract workspace. This contract workspace should not contain any visibility condition. That means if users select this particular region, I want this template to be visible. Or if we use this particular commodity, I want this. That such conditions cannot be controlled. And also, you should not have access limit. The person who is creating should have access to this particular template. If I do not have, then I will not be able to do that. Once these two have been released, then the contract has to be in published status. If all these 3 satisfied, you copy the name of the template only. Don't give any extension. It has to be even, the cases has to be maintained. Just provide the details in the template name and close this file. Save this file. Don't do any changes. The next file will be contracts file. I will open the contracts. This is your sample file where you are going to enter your details. Here you need to provide in order details whoever having access to here. Maybe in our case the sample data was there. I am just adding by year 7 for example. What is the title of the contract? I can say Legacy Contract 9. Then Ariba standard best practices method will be you keep the number in your LCW 2009. What does LCW stands for? Legacy Contract Workspace. And before you assign this number, make sure this is not used by any of your existing contracts. In your production system, if you are having any contact ID with this name, then the system will override the contract with the item which you are providing. That is the reason you need to make sure you do not have any ID with this number. This is manual number which you need to provide. This is not something. System will create a number. You need to assign for your legacy contract one ID code, contract ID. And system also will provide one contract workspace ID that we will see later only for legacy contracts. You will be having a different contract ID that you can enter. Now supplier number. Whichever the supplier you are using, you have to enter. Then affected parties. Suppose you are having multiple parties to the contract, you can enter that supplier ID. And also whenever you are working on Excel, if the supplier data is coming like this 10036271. This is your supplier's maintenance. Here is the system. What Excel will do once you click on enter, then it will go as 30162780. Then Ariba will not create this regard. If you skip this regard and if you go to the second regard, in order to do that, make sure you have the text symbol highlighted and enter the zeros. Before you close the file, even closing them also, Ariba will do that. You have to use editor called Seatlusver editor. Notepad cluster editor and Notepad. Then you open this file. Make sure that reducing zeros are available in this folder. Not only for this field, any other field also. Wherever you are having a master data with preceding zeros, make sure you open the file not in Excel, in a text editor, that you will not lose the data. Now hierarchical type, master agreement, standard agreement or sub-agreement. For standard agreement, there is no need to give any reference. Even for sub-agreement, you need to mention what is your parent agreement. Before you are creating this, the parent agreement should be your top. Suppose I am creating sub-agreement here. I am keeping the parent agreement at the 7th, then Ariba will grow an error. I could not find the master agreement. Master agreement has to be coming first. That means whatever you are mentioning here at parent agreement, that has to come first and sub-agreement has to come second. For standard agreement, there is no such rule. For master agreement, you don't need to give any sub-agreement details. For sub-agreement, you need to give this detail. Then what is your contract amount? For example, 10,000. You can enter additional details. What is the expiration of contract agreement date? Agreement date also not mandatory, but effective date should be in current or previous period. Expiration date we have changed to 12/31. Contract status is published. These are all. Wherever you are seeing the fields called custom COs underscore, these are all the fields created for your client. If you don't have any values, you don't need to enter. The minimum values which you need to be entered is owner, contract, ID, supplier is also not mandatory. And these 3, 4, and it is called effective date and fixed time. These are all compulsory. I prepared my file. I am going to remove the existing detail. Here buyer 7 is not the owner. He do not have the taxes. I am using the DDIC as the owner and my contract number will be LC1009. I want to check whether 9 is existing in contract management or not by going to contracts. Here I select Contract Workspace Procurement. Click on Search. I want to search contracts with LC View starting with the name LC View. Click on Search. You can see LC1001 to Zara date only there. There is nothing. Is that I am good to use C1009. The owner should be the person who is having the access. I am using DD. If I use this one, this person will not have the contract creation access. LC09 I am going to create. I am going to remove the details from the system. Now I have prepared like this. You need to prepare for all your existing data. Maybe you can do this for multiple also. You can create up to 500,000 or 1,000 also, but I recommend when you are loading this applies, split the data into multiple pages. Maybe 1 to 5, 1 to 100, 500 to 1,000, 1,000. The system will take all the 500 and need to be replicated. If somewhere some problem is coming, for example at stage 20, you are getting an error. Then you need to reprocess the file. Again, you need to upload all the files. Existing one you need to remove. For that reason, you split the legacy contracts into multiple pages. It will be easy for you to upload. Now Ariba will process fast. The file cannot be more than 50 MB or 200 MB only for the legacy contract. If you have attachments more than 200, you need to reduce the line items. Maybe 100 records at a time or 50 records at a time that you are not exceeding 200 MB afterwards. Let us open the second folder. We have taken project parameters contract file. Now I am going to open contract documents file. This is the contract documents file. Similarly, this is having simple details, not much else. I am going to enter my ID. This is manually created. I can assign to whatever the contracts are there. For example, the file name contract author Windows. This is the file I am loading and it should have your extensions also. If it is an image file ING, if it is a bitmap BIMP, if it is a PIF TF, all the file name extensions should be maintained in file. Otherwise, the system will not load it. Once this file is loaded, what is the name you want to call it? I want to call this as a legacy agreement. You can give any name, whatever the name. Here you can decide under the documents value where we are going to see folder. If you want to create a folder and put this document inside of this, then I can do that. Name agreement folder. Suppose if I do not give any value here, then Ariba will go into provided the document. When you click on document, this document will be visible. If you want to keep a folder and put this inside, then you have to enter the folder name. Otherwise, you can simply ignore. Like this, you can also see the status of this one. Maybe if it is a draft status, you can do that. Suppose you want to make some changes, edit or something, you keep the draft. I am going to remove this. I want to upload the same file. Just for showing purpose, I want to do that. Title will be. Then I don't keep the folder name. Maybe publishing the file name. I want to create contact authoring one. Now I'm going to remove these two. My file is also prepared. Now I need to prepare the file called contact authoring talk. Let me go to folder. This is the file. I am going to rename the folder into. Here I am going to do authoring one. Two files are loaded. Now let's do the third file. It is nothing but Teams folder. This is again simple. I want to give him project owner. You can create any group also. Suppose you are having a supplier management group. You can give the name. You can add the member into that group. I want to add, I need to know. By year 7 into this contract much better. As a project owner, I'm giving this access. Before that, I want to make sure by year 7 is having. You need it. I go to use the main user. Click on this. Change your profile. In you give this request. Here request by year 7. You will see the name. I get additional details by year 7. There is a space. If I enter with a buyer, it will not come. There is a space by a 7. It's good to hear. It is a space. That's why last time we did not get it. Season 9 by year 7. Also, I want to give the access. Now my 3 files are ready. I need to select all. Right click. Compress to zip file. Once there, you can give any need. Now my file is ready. I have to put it. This is what I said, up to 200 MB. You can load it. Suppose you will come to having a requirement where you're having each attachment is consisting of more these things. Then you can raise it to Ariba. Ariba can do up to 500 MB for single load. Now I go to Ariba screen. How do we upload? Manage Administration Project Manager. Manage Administration. Project Manager, Import Legacy Contracts. Who's the friend? Feedback. 2 upon the first. Now you can see the status has submitted. You can click on refresh or you can click on view detail, whichever the way refresh. Well, I'll click on view details to find out why it failed. Online workspaces is created one, but it failed. You can see full information about how the order it is sealed. First, it will read the input project parameter file. If everything is, it will leave the contracts file. If everything is, go to the documents file, then teams file. Once these files are ready, then it will start processing from contracts SLV. It created the data from the second line. First slope does not exist created. The other way, decrypting the file content of contract documents SV. Then no such file directly. Why that error is? I'll know that error. I'll go to Import Legacy Contracts folder. Here I have the docs. Anyway, this is a document type which I'm using. I'll just click on F2. Cool. Now I'll delete this folder. Main name compass zip file. Go back to our repo screen. Import legacy contacts. Choose file. Before you do in production, you will be testing the same data in your product. Test environment. If everything is loading fine, then you upload the same in a production site. Again it failed. Why it failed? Workspace created, document created. Now it failed in another stage. But Team Loader could not find bias 7 while loading the project group. Bias cell not find bias 7 while landing the project folder. Then there is a problem with the team load file. Let me check what is the problem there. This user is a third-party user. That is why it did not help. I'm going to add CMDDAC as the project folder. I'll find out some other name. Let's say breaking class here. Load and number of times you are doing. System will overwrite the existing files, that is, you put legacy contracts, those files, load or import those papers. This time makes sense. Buy it in 8, which is not available now. Let us go and see the file which is created in your contract workspace. I select contract workspace procurement. Select that. LCW. You can see contract 9 is created, owner is created. This is the vendor expiration date, published status. I click on open. Now question 2. Because I have uploaded multiple times value 10,000 Z standalone agreement last published. Now I go to the documents. I can see temporary. This is the file I have uploaded, and then I also created one main agreement folder. Inside of this I put the document file also. This is where we have uploaded. Rest of the documents are coming from your template, which is automatically using the SSG template. This is how you can upload your work. Here I am trying to add project owner 8, but that is not coming because that buyer 8 is not having third-party user. It is not possible to allow into this one. Either I can add something like this, a DDIC or operational buyer 2. If I am adding, then I will be able to do that. This is the name I need to upload. Let's give a final chance. O2. On the Teams. Changing the name. I am changing the name for this project owner also. I want to give the permission of project owner OP buyer 2. I will click save. While grouping, I need to group all the files. Load file. Give a screen. Main is administration. Report legacy contacts. Choose the file. Review status. I need to put the file. Maybe this buyer is not active or something. Anyway, that is how you can input your legacy contacts. Existing contact, this is a purely manual work. As a consultant, you need to give a testing and you need to find out which fields when you are giving. When they are getting this kind of error, for example, OP buyer, make sure that by unique ID they are entering. And also make sure you inform them. The suppliers need to be having 000 means you add. Then enter the text value of the format of cell format as a text value. And train your user to do that. As many times as possible, do that testing in your test environment. Administration. Load the file. The file is successful. For example, you are loading and find it and load it properly. Use the same file and upload in production also. Here you can do the testing. If there is an error in your document, you can correct it before you upload the same thing in production. Is it clear? Will it allow only Excel file or any other file also can be accessible? It should be CSV file actually. It is not Excel file. It is a CSV file. That you need to group file also. I have seen. For simplicity, we are opening that file in Excel. This is what if you see the file name. It is micro, separated value file, a CSV file. A CSV file can be openable in Excel document. These 4 contract document, contract, contracting, project. These 4 should be always in CSV format only. That's the reason I am giving a caution. When you are entering this, when you are opening this file in Excel, you are going to get the trouble with leading zeros. If it is there, your data is consisting of leading zeros. How do you open in Notepad first? I don't know whether I have that. Maybe if it is Notepad, Notepad is a free software. You can download from your Google or something. This is how it has to be. Here it will not miss. You can see local laundry, contract authoring talks legacy argument main and publish. If there is no values, it will skip and it will just give you comma, comma. If there is a value, it will be entered here in this contract document folder. This will be the folder name. Suppose you want to create a new folder, please implement the other value. Own. Suppose you know the owner. Anyway, the titles are there. Contact DLN 95 contract orthodox title. How the name you want to be visible in your contract document. That is what you are going to enter here. Which folder you want to maintain. If you see here that one temporary is the file, but I did not give it the folder name, that's why it is having one empty comma, comma. The second one is owner and third last one will be the status. You can even publish the status also, draft also. Which is the way you want to do it. You have 4 different files, right? All 4 are mandatory. If the yes all are mandatory, we cannot skip any of these files. For example, if you don't have details of the documents or themes, you can upload empty files. There is no problem. That's sort of it, but it should. The file should consist in your 4. This 4 file has to be consistent in your zipper folder. And this 4 also, you cannot load individually. It has to be zippered format only. Then only Ariba will accept the file. What about the field added within that file? How system will you understand that? I mean, will that all be in serially or no need, no need? Serially, no need. Let me open a contract file. Right-click open with Notepad, click. Edit with Notepad file. This is the one it is going to identify. You see the column titles. These are all system. This is your file. Owner, this is the column name. Ariba knows owner means contract owner. Then it takes the value from here. Title contract ID. Contract ID is a unique ID. It cannot be a duplicate because it will overwrite it. Then you can see there is a line item 3. This has to be deleted. Actually, we deleted from an Excel some line item. Still, it is having. It reads the file. It has to be back. From here, it will select. It need not be in order, but some cases, yes, you are right. For example, if I put the contract ID at the end before I give the detail, then Ariba will not be able to read it. At least this information should be first, that it will follow the other information. In real time, there must be a format that we should follow in that. No, actually this is normal. Even if you use this file, you can upload also. Only where you are not finding it. These are all always standard. It will not change until the last fields where you are going to see. These are all created specifically for this customer, that is customized on custom fields we are calling. We need to find out the field ID of that particular contract that Ariba can help you. Then you can enter those details also. Maybe you are having something called plant or the business plant or area or sub location or plant location, something like that. The field which is customized for you. You need to find out the field name of that value. Then again, in that column, you have to enter the values. In Connect, Ariba Connect, once you are having access, you can also download this sample file from Ariba Connect. All the 4 default ones will be provided. The first step will be in your project parameter, you need to give the template which you are using to use for legacy contract. That should not contain any access controls or visibility condition. You remove those conditions and make sure that it is in a published version also. It is not in draft version. That is one condition. Second, you will prepare your contract file, the one which I am showing. If you don't have team members need to be added or document need to be added, you just create it and you allow the end users to upload the document related to the content. Even in this content, when you are creating it here, instead of published, you keep that as a draft status. Allow the users to do that. Ariba best practice is once you upload as a published that no changes are possible. Any changes user is doing, ask him to do amendment or to follow on document and make the changes. Even when you are loading it, if you are getting a problem, the system will give you the errors where I am saying that error right. Like buyer 8 is not available, OPA is not available because those are not your enterprise users. Only enterprises have the access to create contract processes, not the third-party users. And then, for example, you are trying to load this one like I mentioned. It skipped the sources and it did not enter the value. Ariba will not stop you. It will just skip the value in the supplier value. It will just not add, but the rest of the data will be added. You verify this in a contract workspace and this is missing because we are not having lead zeros. For the file with the leading zeros, for example, this is the supplier name. Here I added this one using Notepad++. It will not change any values. If you are using Excel, these 3 will be removed. Save the file and re-upload. Do the multiple tests in your testing environment. Once you are clear with the file and make sure the following data follows the same format which you have prescribed. Before you load the file, verify all the information is accurate. Even sometimes this will get changed. M and DD will be in DDM also. Make sure what is your system format which is using. Give it a try with like 31 and 12. Then you will understand it. Skip means then the data is in MMDD or DDMM. To do the analysis, if everything in the loaded contract is as per your testing, get a user confirmation and proceed with doing the legacy upload. Again, most of the companies will assign consultant to do this job because they don't want this to be missed. It may be a job also. That time the data will be provided by. These details will be provided by end user. They will give us in an Excel format. We will change to the required format and upload the files. Let's go to Ariba Project Management. I want to show you one more. How do we do that? Administration, and this is template. Whatever upstream related things you will find under admin. Whatever in downstream related, you will find under Core Admin. Administration Project Manager, Import Legacy Contract. You can see the status of your legacy contract also here. Or directly by going to Import Legacy Contract. While uploading, you can see. Once you upload, it will go to the status column. You can see the view details of the log where it will clearly give you number of contract workspaces created. Updated means it is overwriting. Created, updated means it is again overwriting. Groups created, updated. If you found something is updating, make sure that you are not updating existing record. You need to make sure that LC 2009 should not be existing in your system. Now I want to tell you project email templates. Whenever your Ariba communications are happening, for example, there is an approval task wherein approver is receiving an email. That email formats are available in your displays. For this email template, all contract types will give for whichever the contract type, this is the one. Something related to contract workspace. I am opening one of the sample contract. Once I click on this one, you can see sent to the contract workspace owner and expiration email recipient when the workspace is nearly expired. This is a scheduled batch notification. This kind of a notification when it is triggering. I will click on edit. This is how Ariba going to send. In your subject address, you will be going to have workspace internal ID. That is nothing but your contract workspace ID. Our contract workspace is titled and it says that contract request review as it is near to expired. If you want to make any changes here, you can do that. For example, sample. Just adding it. Or you do not like this format, you can change it. Below the following contract workspace request review, it will add automatically your workspace title. The title will be added here. These are all called tokens. The tokens are updated with real-time information. Whichever the contract workspace is going to expire, the contract details will be uploaded here. Description expiration agreement date. If you want to add additional information, by default, this is what it is sending. If you want to change something, you click on Add Email Token, then Ariba will give you contract workspace related. These are all the fields affected for this. Commodity customer same. Suppose I want to give preferred currency into my reporting also. Then this is added here. I will add one more test file. Preferred currency into my reporting. Of the contract workspace, I will click on this one. I will remove it in 2 parentheses. Control. Put it here. Then this is the text will appear in your email. And this will be updated with whatever the preferred currency selected by affected parties. They actually selected a run token. That will be updated with the information. Like this, you can build your own details. Suppose instead of the approver going to the detail, you want to get the information in one screen itself. You can view this. Maybe agreement date, expiration date. What is called agreement date, expiration date? Effective date. Effective date is missing here. Instead of user part, I want to provide him additional information of contract amount. I want to say contract amount. Suppose if the contract amount is very less than user, he can simply approve it. If it is going more, then he want to be more cautious. User is requesting. Every time I receive an email, I want contract amount also available here. When I go to email token, contract workspace. Then I go to contract amount. I select this field. and automatically that amount will be visible to the user. Similarly, you can also one more tokens. You will also get emails of the click accessible link. What will happen once you click on this link? You can click this link. This is a web jumper link. Automatically a link will be shown here. To review the contract, I am just saying to review the contract. Click here. Once they click here, then automatically that jump link will take you to the external system. Receipt email address, recipient name, sender name, template, upgrade number. All these things can be added into your email description. Whatever you are changing here, this is only applicable for contract workspace procurement related template. If you want the same thing for another one or all contract time, whenever a contract is getting expected generally, you will see this information. I'm not saving it and select all contract type. Here you will be seeing much information here. Notifications sent to owners when a new linked contract document is created. Sent to contract recipient workspace is in the notice period. This is a scheduled job. Ariba going to send a notification when the contract workspace is going under a notice period. I will click on edit. Then I will enter additional information. Since I am selecting contract 1, I want to show you all contract type, all applicable type. A new supply self-register. Sent to approver when a user updates the organization. Like this, we can find out for which of the input tasks. Sent to a watcher assigned to a review task. This is a notification. I click on this thing. When I'm making changes, it changes to all the tasks. But I am only editing it to contract workspace related. When I change here and select as a contract workspace, then new item will be added under contract workspace. And it will send to watcher assigned a review task. A review task has been assigned to a watcher. This is what the message is going to send. This is only applicable to contract workspace. If you change to all applicable types, then irrespective of even in sourcing contract workspaces, that also go. Any other SLP watcher is added in any of the tasks. It will go to them. If you want this to limit to contract workspace, you can select this and click on save. Then one more item will be added under contract workspace tab. Now this is only one right. Once I add it, it will be added as a one more option. Once you delete that item, the system will go by default 1. You do not do any changes. For example, this one. I am deleting it. Then what will happen? Automatically, whatever the standard email format is there, that will be sent to the users. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.